Hey everyone, before we jump in I want to be clear this isn't a hype-driven unboxing. I've spent the last few weeks actually flying the Mavic 3 Cine Premium Combo, reading what other pilots have to say, and digging into the specs that matter when you're trying to decide if a $4,000 plus drone is worth the investment. If you want to check the product details on Amazon, the link is in the description. My goal here is to help you understand the real-world value, the everyday quirks, and who will actually get the most out of this machine. Let's start with the core question that haunts most potential drone buyers. Do you need this level of sensor size and codec capability, or are you just adding another pricey toy to your gear shelf? The Mavic 3 brings a 4/3-inch Hasselblad sensor to a portable quadcopter, which makes it feel more like a small cinema camera than a hobby drone. That's great if you're already shooting footage that you intend to edit in DaVinci or Final Cut and you care about the difference between a 4K DNG and a compressed H.264 stream. It's a harder sell if your main goal is to capture quick vacation footage or to practice basic piloting. First, let's talk about what the Mavic 3 actually delivers in the field. The biggest practical strength is the flight time. 46 minutes on a single charge means you can actually spend the day on location without constantly swapping batteries. In my test at a coastal cliff, I was able to circle the headland, capture a sunrise, and then reposition for a low-angle shot all without landing. The 2 extra batteries that come with the combo push that total to well over an hour and a half of airtime, which is a genuine productivity boost. For professional shooters who need to capture multiple angles or for filmmakers working with tight daylight windows, that endurance is a tangible money saver. Next up is the camera. A 4/3-inch sensor paired with Hasselblad lenses gives you a dynamic range that feels noticeably richer than the 1-inch sensors you see on most consumer drones. In bright daylight the colors are vibrant but not oversaturated, and in low-light scenes, think dusk or a cityscape at night, the footage retains detail where a smaller sensor would crush shadows into black. The ability to record Apple ProRes 422HQ directly to the internal SSD is a game-changer for people who want to skip the transcoding step on set. If you already edit in Premiere Pro or Final Cut, you'll appreciate the clean workflow. Drop the footage onto your timeline and start color grading. That said, the ProRes option is only accessible when you pair the drone with the DJI RC Pro controller, which adds another layer of cost and learning curve. Speaking of the controller, the RC Pro feels more like a mini-film camera monitor than a traditional drone remote. The built-in 5.5-inch touchscreen displays telemetry, focus peaking, and true color histograms, which helps you fine-tune exposure in real time. For a photographer who is used to working with a DSLR viewfinder, that can feel reassuring. However, the interface isn't exactly intuitive for someone whose primary experience is with the simpler DJI Fly app. The menu hierarchy has several layers: flight mode, camera settings, obstacle avoidance toggles that you have to navigate before you even lift off. If you're a beginner, you'll likely spend a good portion of your first flight just figuring out where the record button lives, which can be frustrating. Obstacle avoidance is another area where the Mavic 3 shines. It uses omnidirectional sensing, meaning you get forward, backward, upward, downward, and sideway detection all at once. In my experience navigating a forested park, the drone automatically slowed down when it sensed branches, then gently hovered and waited for a clear path. That safety net is incredibly valuable if you tend to fly in tight spaces or if you're prone to getting distracted by the view. The downside is that the sensor suite adds weight, which is part of why the Mavic 3 is heavier than older models. That weight means it's a bit more twitchy when you try to make rapid direction changes, so piloting it in windy conditions can become tiring. Battery confidence is something many pilots talk about, and DJI tries to address it with Smart Return to Home, RTH. The Mavic 3's RTH system calculates the most efficient route back to the launch point based on remaining power, wind, and altitude. On a day with a brisk sea breeze, the drone correctly abandoned its planned return path and cut straight across the water to land safely before the battery died. That safety net is reassuring, but the system can be a bit aggressive if you're mid-shot and the battery dips below the preset threshold. The drone will pull away from you without warning. Some operators prefer to set the threshold higher manually, which adds another piece of the puzzle. Now let's address the lens ecosystem. Because the sensor is a 4/3 format, the native focal length is a bit wider than the typical 24mm equivalent you'd see on a 1-inch sensor. If you're looking for tight telephoto shots, you'll need to attach a compatible MFT lens via an adapter,